ready?
Sure.
Ready to do this?
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Welcome to a video that I have been talking about for quite a while now. This is my husband Jeremy, in case you've never watched my vlogs.
Hello.
As you can tell by the title, it is our journey with anxiety and depression, but it can really be opened up to all facets of mental health. So we wanted to make this video, first of all, because I thought you sort of were owed an explanation as to why I haven't been filming as much this year. And we wanted to share our story because we really feel like mental health is something that is taboo, and we wish more people would be open and talk about it.
Yeah, for example, our radio station is owned by the company Bell, and every year there's Bell Let's Talk Day, which is focusing on mental health. And Howie Mandel is one of the celebrity spokespeople for it, and he had a great quote this year. He was saying how, like, why is it a problem if I say I have to go see my therapist? People will be like, what, your therapist? But if you say, oh, I have to go see my doctor, nobody cares. But really, the two should go hand in hand. You should be able to just say to your friend or say to your boss, just like, oh, I got to go see my therapist. Okay, see you in an hour. Just like it would be if, you had to go to the dentist or go to the doctor.
Yeah, so we have started to be much more open about what's been happening with us, and we wanted to extend that to you because you have been so lovely to our family. The YouTube community has been so generous and loving, and we thought if we can help just one person feel more confident or know that they're not alone, then we will have succeeded. So this is a first of two parts of a video. So this one, we're going to explain a little bit of our backstory and what we've been through, and then we're going to ask you to leave questions. And then in the following video, it'll be more of a Q&A because we weren't really sure what area you would be most interested in, and Jared and I wanted to make sure we were covering what was important.
Yeah, and we want you to feel comfortable asking whatever you want because we've definitely learned a lot in the last, few months or a year, because I found once I started talking about it and telling other people, I was shocked at how many people I knew had gone through the same thing, but I would have never guessed because, again, there's that stigma around mental health that you keep it a secret and you don't ever talk to anyone. And I'm not just meaning like talking to a therapist, but like you mention it to your friends, and then it's like I've come across numerous friends who have found out have dealt with the same sort of stuff at some point, and I had no idea. So I'm totally cool with answering your questions because it's certainly been a pretty wild ride, but I would like to help other people out.
Absolutely, and we'll be able to answer questions whether you're the one who is suffering from anxiety or depression, or maybe your spouse is, or maybe your friend is and you're not really sure what to do. So we encourage you to leave lots of questions below. You can Facebook me, tweet me, Instagram me, whatever, and then in about a week or so we'll film that Q&A. So we should probably start with explaining a bit of our backstory and our situations. While they are similar because we're a unit, they are also just a little bit different, right?
Yeah, well, for me, it goes back a long time. I've only learned since I started really dealing with this in the last few months. Like, I can now think of instances from 15 years ago where all I ever thought it was, oh, I was just really stressed out, but really I was having anxiety attacks or I was depressed or whatever. It was just interesting to realize oh, this situation or that situation, what was actually happening. But for the both of us, it really started to spiral out of control at the end of last summer, beginning of September, because that's when we found out about Thomas's autism diagnosis, which, looking back now, it was great to find out because that was sort of the missing piece of the puzzle, but it also was just one more thing for us to deal with, and that's sort of when we both started to have a hard time just dealing with everything that was going on. And for me, it just sort of slowly, I just kind of started becoming unraveled, and through the fall and leading up to Christmas was, I was just having horrible anxiety attacks, and I was very depressed. I was suicidal, and just, it wasn't like I wanted any of this to happen. I didn't know what was going on. It was just very, very confusing, and it would be weird things too. For example, for me, I would get anxiety over things around the house, like worrying about water leaks, like I was like, pulling ceiling tiles out and sticking my head up in there, like trying to find where this noise was coming from, because I was convinced that there was, a leak, or I couldn't use the dishwasher, or
Give Thomas a bath.
yeah, washing machine, it couldn't be in the house when they were happening, just because it would just give me so much anxiety. And it's like, why would running water give you anxiety? Well, I have no idea, but
we even had a plumber come in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, at one point I called a plumber to come in and just sort of basically tell me nothing is wrong, and they were kind of confused when I called them. They're like, dude, it sounds like nothing's wrong, this costs money. I was like, I know, but believe me, if you come in, I think it will help.
Yeah, and it did, but not
a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
And but yeah, once we started going to see a therapist, and I started seeing a counselor on my own, it definitely started to get better. I think we'll save more of the details probably for the next video. But.
Yeah, we started seeing a therapist in the fall, just because we knew that things weren't going well, and she's technically a marriage counselor. We weren't going for any marriage problems. We were going as a unit to try and understand how to deal with this new hand we'd been dealt, because we weren't dealing with it very well. And one thing, now we are very open about talking about it, but to give you some perspective, even our closest family and friends had no idea. We just sort of didn't want to be a burden, and we didn't want to open up about it. We were just, one day at a time trying to do our best. And in hindsight, obviously, that was not the best thing. So, yeah, we started seeing a therapist. We still see her. Jared started seeing a counselor. And you also went to the doctor.
Yeah, well, I had to start taking medications for the anxiety and depression. So that was, I think it was the end of January, beginning of February. Yep. And so I've been on that now for a few months, and that's really helped, because it got pretty crazy there, and we had to have people kind of stay at the house with us. And
yeah, my mom flew home from Arizona for 3 weeks. Jeremy's dad and stepmom and mom came up with a drop of a hat. Yeah, things definitely unraveled pretty quickly for us. So one thing, if you have any questions, obviously, we're not experts. This is just our journey and our situation. But if you have questions about, Jer had to try different meds. The first ones were horrific, to say the least. And then, so that's a slow journey. So if you have any questions about that, and then also if you have any questions about coping, Jer's anxiety and stress and depression, as well as my own, manifested physically in ways that we totally were confused about and didn't understand. So if you have any questions about coping with it besides medication and therapy, we can talk about other things that we've both done. I haven't had as an extreme experience as Jer, but I definitely have had. Thomas wants to be in the video. Hi, T-Bone.
Are you doing gymnastics back there?
Yeah. I've definitely had anxiety attacks. I've definitely, dealt with depression and dealt with my own situation, trying to be a spouse to someone who is going through such a rough time, where still, maintaining the family and the house and Thomas and his needs and our needs. So that has been a juggling act, to say the least, and an incredible learning experience. So if you have any questions about that and how I've dealt with stuff, still working full time, and yeah, just any questions you guys have, please be very open and honest. We can not use your name if you prefer. That's totally fine. It can be anonymous. But we really just wanted to start a conversation and let you know, for one, you're not alone. We are shocked at how many people are dealing with this and dealing with it silently, because they feel like it's something to be ashamed of, and it absolutely is not. So we could talk about this for hours, obviously. I mean, this is just meant to be sort of an intro and an opening of an outlet for you. So please leave questions below, or like I said, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My email is always below if you would prefer that and make it totally anonymous. And we hope that this starts a conversation.
Add me on Friendster.
Thank you for watching this video and for being so kind to us and creating an outlet that we feel safe to be so honest with you. And we look forward to your questions. Thanks for watching.